Deep in the Annamite Mountains of Vietnam and Laos, a creature of myth and legend roams. Once so elusive it's nicknamed the Asian unicorn. This is the Saola, one of the rarest large mammals on Earth. Discovered by science only in 1992, it was a breathtaking find, a throwback to a time when the world still held deep mysteries. Imagine a new large animal, completely unknown to the global community, unveiled in the late 20th century. The Saola is a beautiful animal, a forest-dwelling bovine with two long, parallel horns that can reach up to 20 inches in length. Its coat is a deep, rich brown, with striking white markings on its face, resembling a carefully painted mask. These markings are unique to each individual, like a fingerprint. Despite its resemblance to an antelope, it's more closely related to wild cattle. But its shy and solitary nature makes it incredibly difficult to study. In fact, no biologist has ever seen a Saola in the wild. Our entire knowledge comes from a handful of camera trap photos and a few individuals that were briefly held in captivity, none of which survived for long. The discovery was a moment of pure wonder for the scientific community. A joint team from Vietnam's Ministry of Forestry and the World Wildlife Fund was surveying the remote Vuquan Nature Reserve. They stumbled upon a skull with unusually long, straight horns in a hunter's home. They knew instantly it was something new, something extraordinary. The local people were familiar with the animal, of course, but to the outside world, it was as if a mythical beast had just walked out of a storybook. This discovery highlighted how much we still have to learn about our own planet. The Saola became a symbol of the unknown wilderness, a ghost of the forest. Living in the dense, wet evergreen forests of the Annamite Range, the Saola is perfectly adapted to its environment. It prefers to stay near streams and in small, secluded valleys, far from human disturbance. Its diet consists of leafy plants, munching on figs and other foliage found on the forest floor. The Saola's secretive lifestyle is its best defense, allowing it to navigate its home undetected. But this reclusiveness also makes it incredibly vulnerable. We know so little about its social structure, its breeding habits, or even how many are left. Every single piece of information we gather is precious, a tiny fragment of a much larger puzzle we are desperately trying to solve before it is too late. The tragic irony is that the Saola is not the primary target of hunters. Instead, it's an accidental victim of a much larger crisis, industrial-scale snaring. Poachers set thousands upon thousands of cheap, wire snares throughout the Annamite forests. These deadly traps are meant for animals like wild boar, sambar deer, and muntjac, which are sold in the illegal wildlife trade. But snares are indiscriminate. They catch anything that walks into them. A Saola, quietly moving through its forest home, can easily step into one of these hidden loops. Once caught, the animal faces a slow and agonizing fate. It's a silent slaughter, happening deep in the forests, far from our eyes. This relentless poaching is driven by demand for wildlife meat and products in nearby cities. The Annamite Mountains have become a labyrinth of these wire snares. Conservation groups are working tirelessly on the ground, sending teams of rangers into the forest to find and remove them. It's a grueling, dangerous job. In a single patrol, a team might remove hundreds of snares. Over the years, they've removed tens of thousands. But for every snare they remove, more are set. It's a constant battle against an invisible, pervasive threat that is emptying these forests of their life, one animal at a time. The Saola is just one of the many species being pushed to the brink by this crisis. Habitat loss is the other major threat pushing the Saola towards extinction. The forests it calls home are being fragmented and destroyed by illegal logging, agricultural expansion, and infrastructure development like new roads and dams. As the forest shrinks, the Saola is forced into smaller and smaller pockets of land, making it even more vulnerable to poaching. Roads cut through their territory, opening up previously inaccessible areas to hunters and settlers. It's a double blow. Their home is disappearing, and the dangers within it are increasing. The Saola needs large, connected, and undisturbed forests to survive. Without them, it has nowhere left to go. The situation is critical. Estimates suggest there could be fewer than 100 Saola left in the wild, maybe even just a few dozen. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, lists the Saola as critically endangered, the highest risk category. It's teetering on the very edge of extinction. The last confirmed camera trap image of a Saola in the wild was in 2013. For a decade, we have had no definitive proof of its continued existence in its natural habitat, only footprints and local reports. We are in a race against time. Every day that passes without effective action is a day closer to losing this magnificent animal forever. But there is still hope. A coalition of conservation organizations, including the Saola Foundation and the IUCN Saola Working Group, are dedicating their efforts to saving this species. Their strategy is two-pronged. First, they are intensifying efforts on the ground to protect the Saola's habitat and remove snares. This involves supporting local law enforcement, training forest guards, and working with communities to reduce their reliance on poaching. Second, they are pursuing a bold and complex conservation breeding program. The plan is to find the last remaining Saolas in the wild and bring them into a specialized breeding center. This is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. It's incredibly difficult to find, capture, and care for an animal we know so little about. But it may be the Saola's only chance. This conservation breeding program is a monumental undertaking. It requires building state-of-the-art facilities, training expert teams of veterinarians and animal keepers, and deploying sophisticated detection methods, like using highly trained tracker dogs and analyzing environmental DNA from leeches and streams. The goal is to build a healthy, genetically diverse population in captivity, a safety net for the species. Once the threats in the wild, particularly snaring, are brought under control, these captive-bred Saola can be reintroduced back into protected forests. It's a long-term vision, one that requires immense resources, international cooperation, and unwavering commitment. It represents our last, best hope to ensure the Asian unicorn doesn't fade into legend completely. The story of the Saola is a stark reminder of our impact on the planet. We are losing species before we even have a chance to get to know them. The Saola represents the countless hidden wonders of our world that are silently vanishing. Its fate is in our hands. We can choose to let it slip away, another casualty of our indifference, or we can choose to fight for it. Supporting the organizations on the front lines, raising awareness, and demanding stronger action against illegal wildlife trade are all things we can do. The Saola is more than just a rare animal. It is a symbol of the wild, a testament to the mysteries of nature, and a call to action for all of us. Let's work together to make sure the forests of the Annamites don't fall silent. Let's ensure future generations have the chance to know the Asian unicorn, not just as a myth, but as a living, breathing part of our world. Thank you for watching. Please consider supporting the conservation efforts and subscribe Wild and Wonder for more stories about our incredible planet.